the Donald Trump-Newt Gingrich bromance might just be over, as Trump was recently criticized over his comments about Judge Gonzalo Curiel, the justice presiding over the Trump University case. Now, first, I want to show you a clip of Newt Gingrich calling out Trump for what he calls one of his worst mistakes. Let's take a look at that video.
This is one of the worst mistakes Trump has made, and I think it's inexcusable. He has every right to criticize a judge, and he has every right to say certain decisions aren't right, and his attorneys can file to move the venue from the judge. But first of all, this judge was born in Indiana. He is an American, period. When you come to America, you get to become an American. And Trump, who has grandparents who came to the U.S., should understand this as much as anybody. Second, to characterize, if a liberal were to attack Justice Clarence Thomas on the grounds that he's black, we would all go crazy. Every conservative would say it was wrong, and it was racism. And Trump has got to, I think, move to a new level. This is no longer the primaries. He's no longer an interesting contender. He is now the potential leader of the United States, and he's got to move his game up to the level of being a potential leader.
So here's the thing. He had said that judge is not a Mexican. He's an American. And then he considered this a very sloppy move. Well, look, Newt, take the blinders off, man. This isn't actually racist. Invoking someone's race as a method to invalidate a judge that is so far not ruling in your favor, that's kind of racist. I mean, why bring up that, well, he's a Mexican, but that's fine and everything, but he is a Mexican? Well, obviously, it's not fine if you keep bringing it up. You seem to have a problem with it if you keep saying, well, he's a Mexican. I mean, I want to build a wall between us and Mexico. I want to make Mexico pay for it. So this judge is Mexican, which he's not, but he's Mexican. He's got Mexican ancestry. So he's gonna be biased against me. That's ridiculous. But this is how Trump operates, right? If something isn't going his way, he's going to find a reason to call it unfair. But see, once again, for one, he's not Mexican. He was born in Indiana. He's a U.S. citizen, right? He's an American. Now, to be fair, Trump can get away with this, right? With doing all this bullshit. Because for one, the media doesn't treat him very seriously. Doesn't take him, or hasn't taken him very seriously. And the other time is that he can get away with this because he can point to times where people were unfair to him. And once again, the media is also guilty of that. Now, first the media laughed at him, right? They wrote him off. They called him a fringe candidate. They said he was a sideshow carnival barker, which is still all true, by the way. But this sideshow carnival barker is now the Republican nominee for president. Crazy. And, of course, once he started winning, that whole thing kind of ended, right? And they ended up giving him $2 billion in free advertising. The media. So yeah, for a time, the media did treat him unfairly. And because of that, he can point at this and say, oh, look, I was treated badly by the media, man. They've always been against me. They're still always going to be against me. And by the way, that judge is against me because he's a Mexican and I want to build a wall. He can get away with anything now. Now, of course, I have another video where Donald Trump responds to Newt Gingrich, his comments. Let's take a look at that. This is from Fox and Friends the following day.
I saw Newt. I was surprised at Newt. I thought it was inappropriate what he said.
It is so inappropriate, man. It's calling out my racism. I mean, how dare you, Newt? I thought you were on my side. Newt Gingrich might have just knocked himself off the short list for Trump's VP pick. But now there's more to this interview. I didn't just cut up a 4-second clip just to show that. There is more to that, and it's where Brian Kilmeade decided to do some actual journalism. Watch.
Does anything like that get through to you and make you reform your tactics when someone who's been a supporter of yours comes out and says this is a huge mistake?
All I'm trying to do is figure out why I'm being treated so unfairly by a judge. And a lot of people agree with it.
What's
all
your
I
message?
want to do, All I want to do is find out, why am I being treated so unfairly by a judge?
Now, when you say treated
When you have a
unfairly,
plaintiff, hey, Brian, when you have a plaintiff, right, you have a plaintiff that brings the case, started the case, brought the case, turned out that she was a terrible plaintiff because she signed all sorts of documents, how great the courses were, how great the school was, everything.
Right.
It was unbelievable. Then it found out we have a tape of her saying it on video. We have a tape. Wait a minute.
And she wants out of the case.
Ask her, they say, uh-oh, she's a disaster as a witness. We say, we won the case. She's a disaster as a witness. Then what happens? They go to the court. They say, Your Honor, we don't want her as a plaintiff any longer. We say, okay, throw out the case. That's fine. We just won the case. We thought we won the case. He throws out the plaintiff, and he says, nope, the case has to proceed.
But let's say everything you said is 100% accurate. If you're running for president and you're running against somebody who's about to get the nomination and you're trying to outline why you'd be a better president, why would it be to your best interest, to your campaign, to your party's best interest, to focus on a case that's not going to come to trial till after the election?
I don't, except they bring it up, and when they bring it up, I respond to it, Brian. But I respond to the bad economy. I respond to a lot of things that are going wrong in this country. I respond to the very crooked and dishonest big league, maybe criminally dishonest, the Clinton Foundation, with the money they took in, the horrible money they took in, and then he goes around or she goes around and makes speeches, and the favors that were done. I mean, nobody really looks at that stuff. And you're talking about big league stuff, the money that comes in and pours in from foreign countries, and she's Secretary of State. The whole thing is a horror show. Now, I talk about that. People don't pick that up.
Oh, really? People don't pick that up? I believe we've reported on this. Not that we're a big outlet, but seriously though, don't talk about my fraudulent college that swindled people out of their money. No. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how crooked Hillary Clinton is. Well, we're not talking about Hillary Clinton. We're talking about you. Clinton's got her own problems, and at least there are independent journalistic outlets that are actually doing fair reporting on this, and are not in the pocket of Hillary Clinton. They're not part of the establishment media. You know, outlets like us. You've also got the Young Turks. All sorts of different places that are covering Hillary Clinton. But also, you've got problems with Trump University. So it's fair to go and cover that. You can't just deflect over to Hillary Clinton when we're talking about you. But anyway, here's the thing. It's going to be really, really fun to watch the GOP establishment twist themselves into a pretzel when it comes to Donald Trump. Oh, he's our nominee. We've got to have party unity. Let's rally around him, even when he says terrible things we don't even agree with, and that, you know, he had this fraudulent college that was like targeting people. Okay, recruiters were targeting people. We covered this on the show probably last week, where they would they would say, your family, oh, you got to feed your family. You're not making enough money. Well, come to Trump University and spend your money here, and then you could be great like Trump. It'll be fantastic. It'll be tremendous, and you'll be tremendously smart because all of our teachers were handpicked by Donald Trump, which didn't turn out to be true at all. Oh no, we have dinner with Trump all the time. No, that actually turned out not to be true. This is according to released court documents that were, whoops, accidentally released, and now the judge wanted it back. Well, too late. It's already out there, and it's a disaster for Trump University. And it's a disaster for him. So, But here's the thing. Hillary Clinton is in a statistical dead heat with this guy. Now, I'm not counting the recent Reuters Ipsos poll that showed her with a massive lead on Donald Trump just yet. Right now, until there's follow-up polling that shows the same thing, it's an outlier. But the thought that Trump even has any chance to win a general election against Hillary Clinton should worry everyone. I mean, Donald Trump's a liar, he's a snake oil salesman, and he's a demagogue with no real actual policy positions. And any good politician should be able to destroy this guy without a second thought. I'm talking double-digit landslide shit. Oh, you know what? There actually is such a politician that would do that. And it just happens to be Bernie Sanders. But is the Democratic Party going to nominate Bernie Sanders? Well, it's looking like it might not happen. Like, there's a good chance that won't happen. The superdelegates at this point may end up nominating Hillary Clinton anyway, Because, oh, no. See, the iceberg that is Donald Trump, well, that's okay. We can hit that because our ship will never sink. We're the HMS Hillary, and you can't sink this. You can't sink this ship. So iceberg dead ahead, that's okay. We're going to run right into that bitch, and we're going to see what happens. While all of us over here on the Bernie Sanders side have been screaming all along, iceberg, dead ahead. You got to move. You got to get out of the way. Don't nominate Hillary Clinton. Don't nominate Hillary Clinton. Superdelegates, do not pick Hillary Clinton. You know why? Because she loses to Donald Trump. They're in a dead heat. She could be indicted by the FBI over the email issue. Iceberg dead ahead. Do you see it yet? Do you see it? Or are you going to ignore it and allow this guy, Donald Trump, to be the next president of the United States? Because there is a good chance, there's a much better chance of that happening than you guys think. The media got it wrong before in the primary. What makes you think the media won't get it wrong this time? They're laughing off Donald Trump right now, but I tell you what, I take Trump very, very seriously. And that's why I'm definitely in favor of Bernie Sanders, because he is still the best person to take on Donald Trump and win. You don't believe me? You don't believe me. But I think I'm right. And I hope to hell that I'm wrong.